All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we have 4 mouthpieces, all of which are either around $30 or under. So right here, I got this classic Rico Metalite. This is an M7. This mouthpiece is primarily a type of metal mouthpiece substitute, and it's really good at doing that job for a really inexpensive price. I prefer the sound of cane reeds with this over synthetic reeds. However, as far as functionality, I actually prefer synthetic reeds with this. I'm going to use cane reeds because I think most people would use cane. I'm also using this M7 because I think that's what most people will probably wind up settling on when they get something like this. I'm going to use the best ligature that I have for all of these mouthpieces to try and give you the best of what these mouthpieces are capable of doing. So over here, I got this Yamaha 5C. This one is around between $30 and $35. I have seen them for $30. I got mine for $30. And they come in a wide variety of tip openings. Over here, we got this Giardinelli mouthpiece. I just recently picked this one up for $20.99. $21. This one was a big surprise to me. Very nice mouthpiece indeed. And over here, I got this $10 Timmy Mouthpiece, which is acrylic, and I have done some work on this. I pimped this thing out a little bit to get my own Sirvalorsax there. I got this lava lamp. I actually call this my Timmy lava lamp mouthpiece. The work that I've done on this was basically just flattening the table and this cosmetic job that you see here. All right, this mouthpiece only comes in one tip opening that I've seen. This mouthpiece, I've only seen one tip opening for. The Yamaha comes in a variety of tip openings, and I've only seen 3 tip openings for the Rico, the M5, M7, and M9. Here, I have my Silverstein carbon black ligature. This fits basically an Autolink style shaped hard rubber mouthpieces, which fits very well on all of these mouthpieces. Now, normally people would say, hey man, are you using the same reed? But if I use one reed on all these mouthpieces, I won't be doing these mouthpieces any justice. So I'm going to pick the best reed with the best ligature for these mouthpieces to try and get the best sound that I can, to give you a full demonstration of what these mouthpieces are capable of doing, which all are actually pretty good in their own right. And I'll go into detail about that as I play each one. All right, so let's get started. Okay, Timmy lava lamp mouthpiece with Giardinelli number 3 reed. All right, I got the Rico Metalite M7 with Van Doren Red Box 2.5 reed. Okay, Yamaha 5C with Van Doren 2.5 red box reed. Giardinelli with Van Dorn Redbox 2.5 reed. Okay. I'm going to do two types of bests. One is going to be what I think most people would prefer, and then the other is going to be my personal favorite. So in terms of the people's mouthpiece, the order of ranking, starting in at last, or number 4, is definitely this Timmy Mouthpiece. This is pretty much the worst character in the game that you love to use because of how bad it is. And once you get really good at the game, it actually becomes a whole lot of fun just to see what you can do with that particular character. Now, in this case, if this was a fun challenge, this mouthpiece would definitely rank as one of my most fun mouthpieces to play. But unfortunately, just bad design and bad quality can only get you so far. But you can get pretty far. I think that this mouthpiece is actually really good for those of you who want to get into adjusting mouthpieces. $10 and you can work on this thing, and you can actually find out from hands-on experience what different parts of the mouthpiece do in order to affect the sound. So I still think that getting yourself something like this is definitely worth it if you're looking into adjusting mouthpieces. Okay, next up is going to be the Giardinelli. So it kind of loses by virtue of not being that diversified. And that's pretty much it. I think that this is a really solid mouthpiece here. The great tone and fantastic capability. And then coming in second, we got our Rico, which does a really nice job of coming in at a type of metal mouthpiece substitute to give you that bright, hard-hitting, edgy thing. It's still very inexpensive plastic, but you get an M5, M7, M9, and I think that they brought the Altos back with the metal light, and it is by virtue of that range of tip openings that this mouthpiece ranks as high as it does on the People's Champ type of mouthpiece. And coming in at number 1 is definitely the Yamaha, offering both a nice diversity between a classical or a jazz sound. It can thread it very nicely, not too far on the edge of either one of those styles, but it comes in a wide variety of tip openings, and that can be a great asset for those of you who are maybe band directors or something like that, and you're looking to maybe furnish your bands with pretty inexpensive mouthpieces that kids won't struggle with. Okay, so that's my People's Champ. Now, in terms of my personal favorites. All right, coming in at number 4, again, we have the Timmy Lava Lamp. Now, I'm sure I could take something like this to somebody, or maybe even work on it myself, and this thing would absolutely become a beast. But that's not really what this type of comparison is all about. I really do love playing this mouthpiece. It is a lot of fun, but by comparison, it's definitely last. Coming in at 3rd place. So here we have the Rico Metalite. Comes in an M5, M7, and M9. Personally, I prefer the M5. However, just this tip design, this baffle here, has always been a point of contention with me. I never particularly liked it. It definitely has the bright sound that they advertise, but I'm not really big on the sound of these mouthpieces. And I've always felt like that weird tip just prohibits my Altissimo. But good mouthpiece nonetheless, and they are quite fun to play. Coming in second place are the Yamaha, pretty much all the C-class mouthpieces. This is a mouthpiece that I actually prefer to use to play classical music because it is really easy to play. And it's easy to get that classical saxophone sound just by switching up to a reed that is much more suited for playing that style of music. And it has a nice thread between classical and jazz. Very easy to play mouthpieces. Absolutely coming in a class all on its own on a personal playing level. This Giardinelli at only $21 is really quite phenomenal. I really do think in my heart of hearts that they modeled this after some vintage jazz hard rubber mouthpiece. And it does a fantastic job in terms of ease of play and Altissimo. I just did a video on this. You can check out all of my individual mouthpiece reviews of all of these, but this thing was just completely, this had just completely blown me away. Now, it only comes lower on the other ranking because there's not a whole lot of these. As far as I know, there's only just one tip opening, which is too bad. But wow, what a really nice and fun mouthpiece to play. I wish I had this thing a few years ago because that helps when you're playing 6 to 7 hours a day and then you're just doing a whole lot of background stuff, but you still need to sound like you. One thing though, this bore size was significantly more open than these other ones, and if you notice, I had to use a little paper wedge to keep this thing from pushing sharp on the mouthpiece. But other than that, getting some neck adjustments with the cork, yeah, this mouthpiece definitely comes in at number one for me on a personal level. So hope I can help you guys out. Hope I can save you guys some money with mouthpiece reviews like this, doing this quick comparison. So all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for you. See ya.